As you listen today, ask yourself this question: are you training your body out of habit, or are you training your mind to become unstoppable? Because the difference between average results and legendary results is not genetics. It's commitment, focus, and the courage to push when your mind tells you to stop. Before a single muscle contracts, before the weight even moves, something far more powerful has already decided the outcome. It is the voice inside your mind. That voice can either become your greatest weapon or your greatest limitation. This is where true strength begins. Not in the gym, not in the mirror, but in the unseen space where belief, focus, and intention are formed. Every powerful body you admire was first built in silence, through mental discipline, long before physical proof appeared. Think about this for a moment. Two people can lift the same weight, follow the same routine, eat the same meals, yet achieve completely different results. The difference is not effort alone. The difference is mental strength. The mind controls how the nervous system fires, how muscles respond, how pain is interpreted, and how long you are willing to stay present when discomfort appears. When the mind is trained to remain calm and focused under pressure, the body performs with greater efficiency, coordination, and power. This is not motivation. This is mastery. Mental strength allows you to show up when no one is watching. It teaches you to respect the process even when results are slow. Every repetition becomes intentional, every breath becomes controlled, and every movement becomes purposeful. Instead of rushing through workouts, the mind learns to connect deeply with the body. This mind-muscle connection is not a myth, it is a neurological reality. When focus is sharpened, muscle recruitment improves, injury risk decreases, and performance increases. The body responds best when the mind is fully present. Now consider how the mind reacts to pain. Pain is not just physical, it is interpreted by the brain. An untrained mind panics, resists, and shuts down under pressure. A trained mind observes pain without fear, understanding that controlled discomfort is part of growth. This shift changes everything. When the mind no longer views challenge as a threat, stress hormones stabilize, breathing becomes deeper, and the body remains in a state of controlled effort rather than chaos. Strength increases not because the weight feels lighter, but because the mind becomes stronger than the resistance. Mental strength also builds discipline, and discipline protects health. A focused mind avoids extremes. It respects recovery, prioritizes sleep, and understands that rest is not weakness but strategy. When the mind is clear, decisions improve. Nutrition becomes intentional, hydration becomes consistent, and habits become aligned with long-term well-being. This mental clarity reduces anxiety, supports hormonal balance, and improves emotional stability. A disciplined mind creates a stable internal environment where physical growth can safely occur. There will be days when motivation disappears. Everyone experiences this. What separates those who grow from those who quit is not inspiration, but identity. When you train your mind, you no longer rely on feelings to act. You act because it is who you are. You show up tired. You show up unsure. You show up anyway. This builds confidence that goes far beyond the gym. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, the mind becomes more resilient, more self-trusting, and more powerful. Mental strength also teaches patience. The body does not change overnight, and neither does the mind. Progress happens quietly, often unnoticed at first. A strong mindset understands delayed gratification. It resists comparison, ignores distractions, and stays committed to personal standards rather than external validation. This reduces emotional stress and prevents burnout. When the mind is anchored in purpose rather than ego, the body grows in a healthier, more sustainable way. And here is the most powerful truth of all. When you train your mind, the benefits extend far beyond physical strength. You become calmer under pressure. You respond instead of reacting. You carry yourself with quiet confidence because you know what you have overcome internally. The gym becomes a training ground not just for muscles, but for life. Every set becomes a lesson in perseverance. Every challenge becomes a reminder that you are capable of more than you once believed. So before you ask how much weight you can lift, ask how strong your focus is. Before you chase results, build discipline. Before you try to change your body, train your mind to lead it. Because once the mind is strong, the body has no choice but to follow. Many people believe that progress comes from doing more sets, more hours, more exhaustion. But true growth does not come from how long you stay busy. It comes from how deeply you commit to each moment of effort. Intensity is not about chaos or reckless strain. Intensity is about focus, precision, and purpose. When effort is intentional, the body responds with strength, adaptation, and resilience. This is where smart training begins, and where long-term health is protected rather than sacrificed. Think about the difference between simply moving weight and truly controlling it. Anyone can rush through repetitions, counting numbers without awareness. But intensity demands presence. It requires the mind to engage fully with every contraction, every breath, every second under tension. When the mind is locked in, the muscles are forced to work harder in less time. This improves neuromuscular efficiency, strengthens connective tissue, and stimulates growth without unnecessary wear and tear. The body thrives on quality stress, not endless volume. Excessive volume often creates the illusion of productivity while silently draining recovery systems. Overtraining elevates stress hormones, disrupts sleep patterns, weakens immunity, and increases the risk of chronic injury. Intensity, when applied intelligently, respects the body's limits while still demanding its best. Fewer sets performed with total focus create a stronger signal for adaptation than countless distracted repetitions. The body listens closely when effort is clear and deliberate. There is also a mental shift that happens when intensity replaces volume. Training becomes meaningful. Instead of chasing fatigue, you chase execution. Each movement becomes a challenge to master rather than a task to complete. This sharpens concentration and reduces mental clutter. Stress outside the gym loses its grip because the mind learns to stay present under pressure. This mental discipline carries over into daily life, improving decision-making, emotional regulation, and confidence. Intensity also teaches responsibility. When you know each set matters, you prepare differently. Warm-ups become purposeful. Form becomes non-negotiable. Recovery becomes a priority rather than an afterthought. Sleep, nutrition, and hydration are no longer optional. They are part of the system that allows intensity to exist safely. This approach supports joint health, stabilizes hormones, and allows the nervous system to recover fully between sessions. The body grows stronger because it is respected, not abused. Another powerful aspect of intensity is efficiency. Time is one of the most overlooked health resources. Long, draining workouts often lead to burnout and inconsistency. Focused, intense sessions create results without stealing energy from the rest of your life. When training is efficient, motivation stays high, stress remains manageable, and consistency becomes easier to maintain. The body adapts better when training fits into a balanced lifestyle rather than overwhelming it. Intensity also changes how you face discomfort. Instead of fearing it, you learn to work with it. Controlled struggle becomes a tool rather than a threat. Breathing stays steady. The mind remains calm. This teaches the nervous system that stress can be managed, not avoided over time. This improves resilience and reduces anxiety. You become stronger not just physically, but emotionally. You learn that effort does not have to equal suffering when it is guided by awareness. And here is the truth that transforms everything. Intensity demands honesty. You cannot hide behind numbers, volume, or time spent. You either gave your best effort or you didn't. This accountability builds character. Each focused session becomes a promise kept to yourself. Confidence grows because it is earned, not imagined. The body reflects this honesty through strength, balance, and vitality. When intensity leads and volume follows, training becomes sustainable. Injuries decrease. Progress becomes steady. The mind stays sharp and the body stays responsive. Growth is no longer forced. It is invited through intelligent stress and proper recovery. You stop training to punish your body and start training to strengthen it. So instead of asking how much more you can do, ask how much better you can do it. Instead of chasing exhaustion, chase excellence. Because when intensity is present, volume becomes secondary and the body responds with power, health, and lasting strength. Discipline and consistency are not dramatic. They don't announce themselves with excitement or instant results. They work quietly in the background, shaping outcomes long before success becomes visible. Most people wait to feel ready, motivated, or inspired before they act. But real growth begins when action comes first and feelings follow. Discipline is the decision to show up even when the mind looks for excuses. Consistency is the courage to repeat that decision day after day until it becomes identity. Every strong body and focused mind is built through repetition. Not repetition driven by obsession, but repetition guided by structure and purpose. When actions are consistent, the nervous system adapts. The body learns what to expect. Sleep cycles stabilize, hormones regulate, digestion improves, and energy becomes more predictable. Mentally, routine creates safety. The mind experiences less anxiety because it is no longer negotiating decisions. It simply follows a rhythm. This is how discipline protects health rather than draining it. Consistency removes chaos from training and life. Instead of extreme bursts of effort followed by burnout, progress becomes steady and sustainable. Small actions repeated daily compound into massive change. One focused workout does not transform a body, but hundreds of them shape strength, posture, endurance, and confidence. One disciplined decision does not change a mindset, but repeated commitment rewires the brain. Neural pathways strengthen with repetition, making healthy choices feel natural instead of forced. Discipline also teaches self-respect. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, the mind registers trust. Confidence grows not from loud achievements, but from quiet reliability. You begin to believe in your ability to follow through. This belief reduces stress and increases emotional stability. The body responds positively to this internal alignment. Muscles recover better. Breathing deepens. Posture improves. You carry yourself differently because your actions and intentions are aligned. There will be days when energy is low and progress feels invisible. This is where discipline becomes most powerful. Consistency on hard days matters more than perfection on good days. When effort continues despite discomfort, the mind learns resilience. Stress no longer feels overwhelming because you have trained yourself to move forward regardless of mood. This mental toughness strengthens the immune system, supports cardiovascular health, and reduces the harmful effects of chronic stress. Discipline also creates boundaries, and boundaries protect well-being. A consistent routine prevents impulsive behavior, poor recovery habits, and emotional overreaction. You begin to respect rest as much as effort. Sleep becomes sacred. Nutrition becomes intentional. Recovery is no longer guilt-driven, it is strategy. This balance keeps the body responsive instead of exhausted. Consistency is not about doing more, it is about doing what matters, repeatedly and intelligently. One of the greatest benefits of discipline is freedom. At first, structure feels restrictive. Over time, it becomes liberating. When habits are established, the mind is free from constant decision-making. You no longer waste energy debating whether to act, you simply act. This mental clarity improves focus in all areas of life. Stress decreases because you trust your system. Confidence increases because your actions are predictable and reliable. Consistency also removes comparison. When you commit to your own process, outside noise loses its influence. Progress is measured internally, not against others. This reduces emotional pressure and prevents burnout. The body responds better when training is driven by self-awareness rather than ego. Growth becomes personal, not performative. You stop chasing approval and start building stability. Over time, discipline transforms effort into identity. You no longer say, "I try to be consistent." You become consistent. This shift is powerful. Identity-based habits are easier to maintain because they are rooted in who you are, not what you want temporarily. The body reflects this stability through balanced strength, improved posture, and long-term health. The mind reflects it through calm confidence and emotional control. Discipline and consistency may not feel exciting, but they are unstoppable. They do not rely on motivation, luck, or perfect conditions. They work in silence, building momentum while others wait for the right moment. And one day, without warning, the results appear. Not because you chased them, but because you earned them. One discipline choice at a time. Growth is rarely comfortable. And real transformation is almost never convenient. The moments that shape strength, character, and health are often wrapped in difficulty. Struggle is not a sign that something is wrong. It is evidence that change is taking place. The body and the mind are designed to adapt, but adaptation only occurs when they are challenged beyond familiarity. Without resistance, there is no reason to grow. Most people try to avoid discomfort, yet controlled struggle is one of the most powerful tools for development. When the body is placed under intelligent stress, it responds by becoming stronger, more efficient, and more resilient. Muscles rebuild, bones strengthen, and the cardiovascular system improves. At the same time, the brain learns how to regulate stress instead of panicking under it. Breathing deepens, focus sharpens, and emotional reactions become measured rather than impulsive. This is not suffering for its own sake, this is purposeful challenge. Struggle also teaches awareness. When effort becomes difficult, the mind is forced into the present moment. Distractions fade. Excuses disappear. All that remains is the task in front of you. This presence improves coordination, reduces injury risk, and strengthens the connection between mind and body. Over time, the nervous system becomes more efficient at handling pressure. Stress no longer overwhelms, it becomes manageable. This ability carries into daily life, making challenges outside the gym feel less intimidating. One of the most powerful lessons struggle teaches is patience. Results rarely arrive on your schedule. Progress often feels slow, especially when effort is high. But the body responds to consistency, not urgency. Each challenge faced and overcome sends a message to the brain that you are capable. Confidence grows quietly through repetition, not through sudden victories. This inner confidence reduces anxiety and builds emotional stability. The mind becomes grounded because it trusts the process. Struggle also reveals truth. When conditions are easy, effort is optional. When conditions are hard, commitment is exposed. These moments build integrity. Showing up when energy is low and results are uncertain strengthens mental toughness. The body benefits from this reliability. Hormonal balance improves because stress is no longer chaotic, it is structured and intentional. Recovery becomes more efficient because the body learns that stress is temporary and controlled. There is a common misunderstanding that struggle must be extreme to be effective. In reality, the most powerful growth comes from consistent, manageable challenge. Pushing just beyond comfort, then allowing recovery, creates a cycle of adaptation that strengthens both body and mind. This approach prevents burnout and injury while still demanding progress. The body thrives when it is challenged intelligently rather than punished recklessly. Emotionally, struggle builds resilience. Each time you face discomfort and continue, the brain rewires its response to difficulty. Fear loses its control. Doubt becomes quieter. You begin to trust yourself under pressure. This emotional strength improves relationships, decision-making, and overall mental health. Life becomes less reactive and more intentional. You stop avoiding difficulty and start engaging with it confidently. Struggle also humbles the ego. It reminds you that growth is earned, not given. This humility reduces comparison and competition with others. Progress becomes personal. You learn to respect where you are while still demanding improvement. This balanced mindset reduces emotional stress and creates a healthier relationship with effort. The body responds positively to this balance, showing steady improvement instead of erratic highs and lows. Over time, struggle changes your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who avoids discomfort. You become someone who can endure, adapt, and overcome. This identity shift is powerful. It affects how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you face challenges beyond physical training. Strength becomes more than muscle, it becomes character. And perhaps the most important truth of all is this: struggle does not weaken you, avoiding it does. Each challenge faced builds a deeper reserve of strength that cannot be taken away. The body grows capable. The mind grows calm. The spirit grows confident. Growth through struggle is not about proving toughness to the world. It is about discovering how strong you truly are when comfort is no longer an option.